The thing on the Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast thing with this lady, satellites are finding old temples and all these lines. It's like, fuck. Okay, they're finding things that a bunch of psychotics built to exaggerate their own ego, and you guys are putting up stuff that you built to exaggerate your own ego to look for shit for that. It makes sense. Okay, technically it makes sense. You're like, fuck, that makes sense. It's the same thing with the NASA Museum downtown. They put all this shit together. We're not living the Lord's Prayer. We don't globally do things right to obey natural laws. And they're putting shit together to go, oh, look what we discovered in space. That you're just as dumb in space as you are on planet Earth and just as egocentric, excessive, and compulsive. Taking your ego out to space isn't going to make your ego any better. What about space? Space is space. The space between your ears. You need to do something about that fucking ego. It gets on my fucking nerves. It's annoying as hell. And then you get this stuff when you watch this stuff with, the presidents. And I explain this to people. When Biden was in office, they do the liberal stuff. We can't get them to do anything they don't want to do, and we program people like we're programming a video game. So everybody rushes to the border. They destabilize all the economy. The military destabilizes all the economies in South and Central America, and then they push everybody up to the border, right? Okay. And then all the people, they're letting everybody in. And all this tribal, secular, insular, biological conditioned bullshit in their heads just goes trigger, 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 trigger. Hey, trigger, count to 10. We're all Roger's fucking horse, right? God damn. Is Nell having sex with your horse, Dudley? Right? And so they're making a lot of noise out there. The doves are mating. And so, but yeah, it's just like, do you know how stupid you are? Do you have to explain it to you? Do you have to explain it to you every day? And then you're watching the shit with Trump, and Trump acts just like Bobby Knight, just like Bobby Knight. Hey, Knight, and if you're Bobby Knight and you're intelligent, you would sit there and say, you have me at an impasse because nobody knows who you are because you haven't accomplished anything yet. So could you tell me your last name so I could yell it at you? That's what you say. That's what you do if someone comes up and disrespects you and you're the best basketball coach in the history of the state of Indiana. Do you see what I'm saying? You keep your cool. You have some class. That's why I'd have whooped his ass in basketball. He was trained at the West Point, with the flying monkeys jumping around behind the colonel doing all their acrobatic stuff. It's like, what, is that necessary? Are you pissed off because Rocky went upstairs with the people doing coke and she wouldn't listen to you? So you got into a tequila drinking contest with Chip and lost because you wouldn't swallow the worm? Okay. Dumb smart kid. And then they expect you to be an uber fucking brilliant, know-it-all God genius when they watch you. Why doesn't he understand what's going on? Because you're a psychotic idiot, dead and trespassing on my life, that you wouldn't be doing so if you had just, your relatives and people like you just listen to Jesus year one, and then if that didn't happen, listen to Muhammad during the Hajj. Oh, son of a fucking asshole. And then you get that asshole in the turban talking to Musk and the other moron, right? Oh, it's beautiful what they're doing there. It's beautiful. It's beautiful what they're doing there. Okay. Big, giant science projects that make no sense whatsoever. Instead of doing things right and then the ecosystem recovering so we can live in the ecosystem that's beautiful, they're building big buildings of egotistical expression so we can find them with the satellites. Come on, Neil. Bring in the science chick. She knows what she's talking about. She's brilliant. She doesn't have an ego problem. She doesn't have a penis, right? No, women don't have ego problems at all. No, not at all. You ever watch Basketball Wives, Real Housewives of Dubai, Real Housewives of Orange County, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Real Housewives of the Potomac? Have you ever? No. You can't watch it for long. It makes you want to just sit there and go, what do you want to do? I don't ever want to have sex again. And if I think about it, I want to go drown myself in the toilet. Either that or take a gun, shoot yourself in the genitalia, go behind a barn and suffocate in a pile of manure, right? And then have art history teachers at community colleges talk about what a wacko pervert he is and how brilliant Frank Lloyd Wright was because he had such amazing style in his clothes. Went around all the time wearing sunglasses and a hat and a trench coat. So long, Frank Lloyd Wright. And you sit there and you read all this stuff about Van Gogh, right? They left a long, not just the stuff that he wrote everything about what he was feeling when he wrote the painting, when he painted the paintings. He wrote and told you about each painting. Yeah. Why do you think Don McLean wrote the song about him? He was a really good guy. Frank Lloyd Wright was kind of pretentious, arrogant, and obnoxious. So much so that someone hated him and murdered his family. Yeah. Well, because he would do big business deals and things and stuff like that too. Like Picasso, which most of my art teachers like too. Oh, he's such a genius. He's not a Jesus. He's a misogynistic asshole, okay, who turned the art world into an elitist manipulation group. And then they helped further exasperate Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler went to Gertie Stein's to try to be a great artist, and neither one of them liked him. It's like, well, in other words, well, do you expect them to like Adolf Hitler? If they'd been nice to him, and maybe told him, no, I'm just not feeling it, but keep trying, If you feel something that you want to do that makes you feel good, keep trying. I would lean towards living the Lord's Prayer and world peace and being like the people that gave us Calvary and the Hajj, as opposed to all those people on TV. Oh, this is brilliant. It's beautiful what we're doing with technology. Send the satellites up to look for your brain. They're not going to find it. Okay, so you understand. So you get these people, and you watch, a dog could see the biological conditioning, the training of the psychological and biological conditioning of the training of the sick, so it's like you watch, it's like sit, Ubu, sit. Yeah, fuck. Well, it's a West Pointer pointing at an Appalachianer. Then push him into the bench and yell at him. Aren't you guys on the same team? Merchant Marines and Coast Guard? Isn't the Coast Guard Coast Guard's with the Navy? Isn't the Marines with the Navy? Aren't you all on the same team? Why are you being such dicks to each other? I want to fuck her and so does he. Oh, yeah. I recall Central Park and Fall, how you tore your dress. What a mess, I confess. Yeah, I tried to talk a kid, Walter Taylor, into playing at Dean Morgan Junior High School back in the 80s, but he didn't like me. And I had a crush on his girlfriend. I didn't know they were boyfriend and girlfriend. If I would have known, I would have said, well, anybody in their right mind has a crush on Julie. She's cute. She looks like Debbie Allen, only hotter. Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, somebody in her family is Ron Beckham. Yeah, he's the one who broke the backboard on that big, tall, 6'6" redhead dude in City League at Natrona County High School. Yeah. And Mom was laughing. I was like, it wasn't funny, Mom. That shit would hurt. He brought down the whole rim on top of the guy, on top of his shoulders and everything, and the glass broke. Maybe he said the N-word to him or something. I don't know. I wasn't sure. Maybe he said something bad, and Ron, what happened is Ron went up and, he was a good athlete, but he went up and used the guy's shoulder to put his hand on to try to follow up a missed shot, and he grabbed onto the rim, and he grabbed onto the rim when he pushed up on the shoulder, and then he grabbed the hand he used to push up on the shoulder to reach up and grab the basketball and dunk it back in. And when he dunked it back in, it broke the rim and fell down over the guy's shoulders. My mom was laughing. I was like, Mom, that shit ain't funny. That shit would hurt. It's dangerous, and that would hurt. Those basketball rims are heavy and they're painful. And when it comes down right over your head and shoulders and all that glass, my mom was laughing. I was like, Mom, you gotta quit doing that. Well, look at that big guy and the little guy. She did the same thing with Daryl Griffith. She went to that game. She did the same thing with Daryl Griffith and Bill Willoughby. Like, Mom, that wasn't funny. That would hurt. And not only that, and Daryl, he didn't laugh. He didn't stand over him and mock him. He asked him if he was okay, and he helped him up. Yeah, that's why Daryl Griffith was one of my favorite basketball players. And Bill Willoughby was from New Jersey and a straight out of high school phenom that came into the NBA, and so he knew Bill had some athleticism and could jump. So he got the ball, got it, and took a step and pow, and dunked it on him. He dunked Bill Willoughby, too, because Bill Willoughby put his arm up to get it, and Daryl had moved it like Dr. J, because Daryl could really jump. And he caught his arm and wham. And then Daryl just went back. Wham. I mean, not Daryl, Bill. Bill went back and pow. But Daryl didn't mug him and laugh or do all that. He might have later if his friends. They watched it on the videotape on the news or whatever where it was, because I saw it on the TV too. And my mom was there. She was in Salt Lake. And yeah, she went to the game. And she laughed. I was like, Mom, it's not right to laugh at that. That shit hurts, man. This is painful. When you get caught and pow. Like that kid in Tucson that grabbed me by the wrist and hit me in the gut. Well, my mom was raised by a sergeant major in the U.S. military that killed more people for the U.S. government than Al Capone and Bob Dylan and John Dillinger and whatever. Yeah, more people than John Gotti. Go kill him. Okay. Yeah, more than Audie Murphy. He didn't get any medals or whatever, but he killed a lot of people. He joined the military when he was 15 in the Pancho Villa campaign. He killed a lot of people. My grandpa killed lots of people. Lots of people. As much as President Obama or Trump? No. Or Biden? No, not at all. Or Hillary Clinton? No. Bill Clinton? No. But they used trained monkeys to do it. My grandpa was one of those trained monkeys. He's in pain. Yeah, you could give him a Red Bull. It's not going to give him wings. You understand? That was my grandpa. Yeah. I didn't know when I was young. I think if it would have been explained to me. You know, they say in the Army, but you don't cognitively think of it. You know, that he joined the Pancho Villa campaign. He was in World War I. Then he was also in World War II. And then, yeah, because he was 15 when he joined, and then, you know, the world. Yeah, and then he did advisory in Korea too, or something. Like he went and also served in Korea, or something of that matter. Yeah. I don't think he did physical combat. I think it was more of advisory and training, getting the other kids to do it, how to kill, or you'll get killed and you won't come back home, and your buddy won't come back home. So you got to go out and kill all those fucking gooks. You see the gook, you smell the gook, whatever even it is. Here, keep yourself calm. Sing the song of Nat Funicello and, you know, hey there, hi there, there is, welcome as can be, right? I'm not sure my grandpa would have came up with that. But just said, get your shit together, boy, you're going to end up dead. The hell's wrong with you? Acting like oh yeah, and he used every dago, spick, nigger, yeah, he was trained in the military. He used every one, you know. That's a damn good nigger. She said that every town they would go to, he'd look for the best soul food restaurants and Mexican food restaurants. It was a damn good spec, damn good nigger. Was what he'd say. Okay, and like, goddamn military. Who gives a fuck? Hey, let's go look for ancient artifacts for this kind of lifestyle and this kind of mental thought process. Conquer, win. It's hard to rule, you know. And that one asshole in his turban, you ain't a Muslim. Okay, Muslims are supposed to stand up for the truth of the Lord's Prayer and that we all live it. Okay? And that will end poverty. And that will give us world peace. Okay? So that man at the White House with Musk and that other wackadoodle, he's nothing like Muhammad. He's nothing like me. He's nothing like Christ. Islam means living the eternal faithful peace of Christ. For all you people that are illiterate or don't understand Arabic. Right? So, yeah. People who can call themselves Christians, but the Vatican is responsible for more mass murder in the history of the world than just about any other organization. Sure have killed a lot more people than my grandpa, but they got a lot of people like my grandpa to buy into the magical bullshit. And, okay, you'll go blow that person up, you'll get to fuck 70 young women that wouldn't even look at you and thought you were crazy, wacky, and creepy when you were alive, but when you're dead and in heaven, they're all gonna worship you as a god, as a avenging angel. And they believe that shit. Well, I guess because it ain't going to happen down here. It sure the fuck ain't going to happen down here. You're creepy and you creep me out. Go away. You're the type of person like Danny Holland that sits there and laughs and says, yeah, there was a thing on Paul Harvey and the grass was 2 feet high and the grandpa went out and cut it with the riding lawnmower and ran over the baby, the grandbaby. And he started laughing. I said, you're a sick motherfucker. The family's probably devastated, and the grandpa probably wants to commit suicide. And you're laughing? That's when Pat Holland told him, see, I told you, Patrice's dad and brother are different. Bikers don't scare them. Okay, that one pastor in Wyoming, I went and I had a death wish, and I ran into this biker that would kill me at Sturgis or whatever, and then I went and had Jesus save me. I was like, oh, no, I ran into the same guy, and he was scared that I was going to crush his trachea on a pipe if he didn't stop talking about sodomizing my friends. Okay, well, me and Jesus and David were cool like that. We're chill like that, right? Just survive, stop, eliminate, recover. If you can't help, shut the fuck up.